This is Richard Wolff from Democracy at Work, responding to another Ask Prof Wolff question from our Patreon community. And this one comes from Glenn. And Glenn basically asks me to distinguish between profit making enterprises and those that call themselves nonprofit or not for profit enterprises. What exactly is the difference? How important is the difference? What would an economy look like if it really did have large numbers of enterprises not pursuing profit? Okay, this question, which arises quite often, demands an answer that may surprise some of you. And that is a kind of debunking of the phrase nonprofit or not for profit. Let me explain. Are there some enterprises that decide they're not going to be governed by profit? They're not going to make profit their bottom line. They are not going to focus on that. They have other goals and other objectives. Yes, there always have been such enterprises, and they exist everywhere, including the United States today. But they are a relatively small, if not tiny, part of our economy. The overwhelming majority of enterprises, large, medium, and small, are in fact driven by profit, seek profit, and can be properly described as profit making enterprises. Well, then, what is all this talk about nonprofit and not for profit when so few enterprises really are what those words imply? It's because those words are fake. That is, they are disguises worn by enterprises that are, in fact, profit seeking and profit making. And I'll give you an example in a moment. Here's what's going on. From the beginning of capitalism, and certainly including US capitalism, there were enterprises that were able to get, usually through considerable effort on their part, tax exemption. All that that means is whatever business they were involved in, the government, federal, state, or local, did not tax them. Let them keep their profits and not pay a share of them to the government as taxes in the way most other businesses always have. So the reality is some enterprises are tax exempt. And it would have been more honest, more straightforward to leave it at that. We have taxable enterprises and tax exempt enterprises. The problem with using the word tax exempt is that it constantly reminds everybody that you are in a business that either pays taxes or it doesn't. And for most people, they'd rather not pay. They would like to be tax exempt, and they are constantly confronted with the reality that they aren't, that other enterprises are tax exempt. So the tax exempt enterprises wanted to change their name to look less like what they are. And they came up with a doozy: non-profit, not for profit. We're not in the business of profit. We are in the business of serving you, or whatever else they may say. Don't be fooled. They're making profit. The only difference between them and other profit making enterprises is that the other ones pay taxes. That's the vast majority, but some of them don't. Here are examples: churches, universities, schools, charitable organizations, and others get tax exemption. I'm going to give you the example I know best: Yale University, one of the premier universities, so called, in the United States. I was a student there. I got graduated. I have my PhD in economics from there, and I taught for some years there. I know the institution well. It is tax exempt. It pays no federal income taxes to the federal government, no state income taxes, and no property taxes to the local government of New Haven, Connecticut, where the university is located. I have followed the finances of Yale University for 40 years, ever since I was a student there. For the vast majority of those years, Yale made a profit. That is, its income was millions of dollars greater than the costs of running the university. It was, in short, profitable, and it wanted to be, and it worked at being. It is also tax exempt. One has very little to do with the other. Yale boasts all the time of its size, of its growth, of its enormous endowment running into the many billions of dollars. Could it pay taxes? Of course. It's the biggest landowner in New Haven. It's one of the richest universities on this planet. Their ability to pay, enormous. Their host community, New Haven, one of the 10 poorest cities in the United States. It's Robin Hood in reverse. The city delivers free public services as a poor city to a very rich institution that is tax exempt. So I don't believe it's an important distinction. I believe it is important to understand that it's a political process, who gets exemptions and who doesn't, and let that be the guide to evaluating them rather than falling for their public relations effort of renaming themselves nonprofit. If discussions and explanations like this strike you as valuable, please partner with us. Share them with friends, neighbors, associates. And if you can, become a supporter yourself. Easiest way to do that, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. It is a costless way to extend the reach of all we do. And of course, if you can help us financially, the easiest way to do that is to go to our website, democracyatwork.info. Thank you.